The first pro with the 2024 Toyota 4Runner is going to be the overall demeanor out on the road. I love the way this vehicle feels regarding all aspects: power, ride quality, and even the handling. I know many reviewers, big and small, they like to overgeneralize products and they really feel the need to put things into a specific box. That's really not necessary. We don't need to keep reiterating the same things here. Yes, this vehicle is primarily from 2003, at least most of its underlying components, but that's what makes it great and that's what gives it such an organic quality when it's rolling down the road. It feels special at all speeds, and you simply don't get tired of driving the 4Runner. Unlike with most other CUVs like your RAV4s, CRVs, CX-5s, Tucsons, all those types of products don't offer any particular excitement. I'm not saying this is going to light your world on fire, but at least it feels unique to drive due to its tank-like sensation that it exudes. Even in its seating position, it just feels unique compared to most other products. Many like to call the 4Runner slow. The reality is you just need to learn how to manage your throttle properly. If you're just lightly tipping into the throttle, yeah, at that point the vehicle is going to feel very lethargic, but if you're at least mid-throttle and you're revving it close to 3,000 RPMs, you should be fine. It feels effortless at that point. Car and Driver, they tested the 4Runner to do 0 to 60 in about 7.7 seconds. That's really not bad. You put your foot all the way down, you get a great engine noise, and you're really off at that point. That's the other thing. I do love the way this engine sounds. Your everyday handling is totally fine, even with this SR5 premium model that we're checking out. It's only when you try to push the envelope, that's when you begin to notice some of the deficiencies of the 4Runner, but who's really pushing a 4Runner to its limits out on the street? Hardly anyone, and there's no real satisfaction in doing that. That's what I'm saying. The everyday handling is fine, and it improves even further if you get things like the KDSS or the X-Reas suspension. All those things can help button up the 4Runner even further. But as you see it here, even this is fine. And ride quality, that's also great. This thing swallows up the larger bumps extremely well. It's just the smaller bumps, you do notice it a little bit more. But again, not a big deal. Getting these 17-inch wheels, that really helps. Many people with the limiteds or with the 20-inch wheels, they do tend to report a more crashing sensation going over bumps. That only makes sense when you have larger 20s, heavier wheels. You're going to get that sensation with a body-on-frame product like this. That's why I chose the 17-inch wheels, because this is my own personal vehicle. All right, so that's the first pro, the overall driving nature. The only real con that I don't like regarding the way the 4Runner drives is primarily on a windy day and out on the highway. Today was one of those days for me, but it gave me a great testing opportunity. I was doing 80 plus miles an hour out on the highway, and you really do notice the 4Runner swaying around, and you tend to get more of that nervous, wandering type feel. So yeah, that's going to be the only real con I don't like about the 4Runner, the way it feels like it's getting blown around in the wind. But what's the solution to that? Just take it easy. Just keep it at approximately 70 miles an hour or even slightly under that in the right lane, and you should be fine. The 4Runner, you don't need to drive it foot to the floor all the time to enjoy it. Just being chill and enjoying the vibes is perfectly fine. I'm going to call the interior space a big pro. I love the solidity of this solid sensation with the inside. This is missing with a lot of new products. Even with newer Toyota Lexus vehicles, you notice that the interior feels a lot more flimsy. Sure, they look nice, but they don't have this durable sensation that this 4Runner has to offer. And that's what's great about these old school products. Vehicles like the older Tacomas and the Tundras, they also have that sensation. But when they get redesigned, they lose that. But this, even though it's not slathered in Italian leather all over the place, you appreciate this quality for different reasons. And of course, the ergonomics are on point. You have real buttons and switches, simplistic HVAC, a infotainment screen that's quick to respond, that doesn't glitch up, and very comfortable soft text seating. I really appreciate this. I wanted these seats. They're easy to clean. They age really well, even with like 100K plus miles, these Softex seats continue to look good. Additional pros, I mean, you have plenty of space both in the front and the rear. The trunk is massive. It's a well-packaged machine, right? The exterior, it's only like 190 inches long total, so you can easily fit this inside of a garage, but the interior provides you with ample space. I am 5'11", I can easily sit behind myself. And real quick, I wanted to cover a pro and a con with you. A pro is going to be the rear sliding window. That might be going away for the 2025 4Runner. We're not sure yet. Some people are speculating and saying that it'll retain it. If it does, great. But you know for a fact that these 5th gen 4Runners come with it. Now, a con with these 5th gen 4Runners, it's going to be with the audio system. If you love your music, you're going to be pretty disappointed with what the 4Runner has to offer from the factory. I have the 8-speaker audio system here with the SR5 Premium. Even if you step up to the JBL in the Limited, it's really not that great, especially with these old school Toyota products. With the new generation Toyotas, the JBL audio system sounds much better, but here for this 5th gen 4Runner, it's not that great. Now let's get more into the cons. We can stick with the interior space. So I do like the infotainment here, but to access your Apple CarPlay and your Android Auto, which this vehicle does have, you do have to utilize the wire. It's not going to be wireless. Other things, there's no real good place to place your smartphone. You have these 2 pointless cubby spaces in the front, and you have this kind of a slot in the middle. It's okay, but it's not the best place to put your phone. Other cons, if you're extremely tall, finding a good driving position could be a little tough. Some tall individuals have commented and said it wasn't a big deal for them. Others have shared my same sentiment. Finding a good seating position to properly see the gauges was difficult for some tall individuals. Just sit in it, check it out for yourself. But two of the biggest cons regarding the 4Runner is going to be, first, the lack of safety, especially in a crash test. That's going to be the biggest drawback for me. And that's simply what happens when you don't update the structure of a vehicle for over a decade, right? This is about the same as a Jeep Wrangler in terms of a crash test safety, according to IIHS. The only difference is this won't flip over like a Jeep Wrangler. In fact, in some areas, the JL Wrangler does slightly better than the 4Runner in a crash test because it's a newer product, and for 2024, the JL Wrangler, it even got an updated side structure. But again, the Wranglers, they have a tendency to flip over, whereas the 4Runner, not so. Back in 2010, the 4Runner was a top safety pick, but in 2014, they lost that award simply because Toyota did not update these vehicles' structure. The other thing, we all know about the rust. If you live in the salt belt or the rust belt, whatever you want to call it, obviously you should be getting these vehicles coated. That should be the first thing that you do. The sad thing about that is you do have to get the vehicle coated after a few years because it doesn't last forever, right? And I believe Viking Garage, he did a video about this. There's like a tube that leaks the AC fluids like directly onto your frame essentially. But he showed a simple mod where you can just run that line towards the wheel liner so you can divert that water from dripping onto your frame. The only other real con I can think of is regarding the side steps. I would personally avoid the Predator steps. They look good, but I don't think they provide the necessary stability if you're going to use them. Most adults don't need a side step to get inside the 4Runner. I had a person in here, they were 5'2", and they were able to get in here without using the side step. But with my vehicle, I opted for the Trail Edition steps. They look good, and it's one single piece that goes on the side of the 4Runner. If you have children, then yes, they will need to use the side steps, and I believe these Trail Edition ones, they will provide you with stable footing, if you will, for children. But for adults, what you have to watch out for is if you're going to be exiting the vehicle, your pants could rub up against the side step and it could make your pants a little dirty, but that's the only other real con I can think of. Some have noted that, the 4Runner doesn't do too well when you lift them. Obviously, I'm not interested in lifting a 4Runner because I don't want to make this perform any worse on a windy day than it already does. But if lifting your 4Runner is something you're interested in, you can just naturally get a TRD Pro, which comes with a 1-inch lift and it's under full factory warranty. And the last obvious pros I'm going to end off with is these are dependable, reliable products that you can actually own for the long term, even after the warranty expires. That's one of the reasons why I decided to purchase a 4Runner, and also the resale value is insane on these. I managed to get this 4Runner for like $2,000 under invoice. I've talked about this in other videos in great detail, but if you're interested in that type of savings with these 2024 4Runners while you can still get them, consider reaching out to a broker named Jim. He has a phone number. You can just text him. If you mention Meyn Motor Group, he will take $100 off of the broker fee that he charges, because a Toyota dealership is not technically allowed to advertise under invoice pricing. They have to do it through brokers or third parties like Jim, and he is literally one of the largest Toyota brokers in the United States. Because of that, he has amazing selection. He's got the best pricing in the entire United States, not just on the 4Runner, but even on things like the Tundras. He's offering like 8 to 10 grand off of MSRP depending on the spec that you go with. TRD Pros, there are no discounts, but on things like the 4Runner Limiteds, he's offering 6 grand off of MSRP. The discounts are insane that he has to offer, so if you want to snag a 4Runner before the 2025 comes out, reach out to Jim. He can help you out. He even has amazing shipping connects, people who literally ship supercars. He's connected with those people and they can safely transport the vehicle to your destination. So I'll have Jim's information in the description box. Text him, mention Meyn Motor Group. But thank you so much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye.